down to the action. All right, welcome everybody to your top four. We've got YurickYu at the bottom of your screen, and we've got I'm So Bad up at the top. Let's tell the players that they are good to go, and let's get started here. Looks like I'm So Bad took a mold of 6, keeping 3 Power Sinister Rumors and 2 copies of D'Angelo Might. That is an awkward starting hand, unfortunately, for I'm So Bad.
Yeah, we have a quite the good hand, double painting hand here for YurickYu, and drawing another Brennan. Notable that they will not be able to play their 5-drop as it's their 4-drop as it stands on turn 4 unless they draw a sigil, because those runes are coming into play depleted. So we'll see how their hand develops here. So they have one more chance of drawing an undepleted power, so they can make their 4-drop on curve.
You know, I know this is not it's not a shell for the Misplay being a sponsor of the podcast, but I will give them a little bit credit. You know, I hadn't been playing too much in TNEs. I know the schedule was tough for some people. It changed over the summer, but credit to the Misplay. I'm So Bad finishing in 3rd place on Friday and then making top 4 again tonight, and then Soap Yellow in their very first TNE ever getting 2nd place on Friday. So you had 2 of the top 4 on Friday and then coming right back with another top 4 finish here tonight. So the Misplay, you know, put their money where their mouth is, coming up and doing well this weekend.
Yeah, and Soap Yellow doing excellent in the Open as well, if I remember correctly, in the
indeed.
top 64 games.
All right, looking at this one, seems like it's pretty much playing out the way that YurickYu wants to play out. Not really much going here for I'm So Bad. Now, they do have a Moldermuck off the top, and they do have Davia at the top end. Those 2 D'Angelo Mites, sometimes they read draw 8 and win the game, and sometimes they read sit and rot in your hand because you got nothing to do with it. And we're seeing the latter here for I'm So Bad.
And YurickYu does have the 4 power to start playing their 4-drops, but they will need to draw some more power to keep going so they can play their more powerful 7-drops here.
All right, and we see that Research Lab come down for I'm So Bad, but once again, Research Lab a good card, but a little awkward when you got no units, and this is the display bug. Trust the hand cam. We actually only have 4 more cards in hand for I'm So Bad, and it's those 2 D'Angelo Mites, Moldermuck, and Davia. Exploit was off the top for I'm So Bad. That's a pretty good one. That's going to be able to do something here, and it'll be interesting to plunder away maybe one of those D'Angelo Mites to get closer to that Davia.
Yeah, that using up our turn 5 here just to make that sketch was not. I'm not sure if that's kind of the most efficient use of turn power, but something that might just be necessary. We have the Moldermuck here that we may be able to start pumping. And kind of utilize that sketch effectively.
Well, that Moldermuck is going to be a pretty effective block on the Torkov. The Torkov was a 4-5, but after a 3-3 with Decay, down to a 1-2, so kind of answered that Torkov here. But Ulick's Unspoken Terror, a 4-5, pay 3 to deal 1 damage to an enemy, and then transform each card with 6 or more. And that's going to transform the Davia. So that was actually key there. This is sort of the anti-Davia card, and we're going to see that happen here. But Research Lab works pretty well with this Moldermuck. As I mentioned before, it just keeps making those bigger, so you sort of neutralize the downside of Moldermuck. You keep making them, and they keep getting bigger.
So YurickYu was able to, I guess, convert their Davias into potentially playable cards, but here, still not having drawn the power, it really is. They're going to start falling behind. The Moldermuck is going to be a 10-10, making an additional 9-9,
and that would have been the perfect draw for that situation, to just nail this Moldermuck that I'm So Bad's been dumping power into, but without the 5th power, they can't do anything about it.
That's right.
And now you get a pair of 9-9 Moldermucks. And
I'm sorry for ever having doubted I'm So Bad for using up that turn 5 to make that sketch, because here it is really
Eat your words.
Yes.
Indeed, it was awkward at the time, but yeah, it has paid off here for sure. All right, Rage Grafters, anything we can get. Crackling Bauble and Speaking Circle.
Speaking Circle and Bauble, and notably, they only have 1 Rage Grafter, so the Bauble itself, there is only 1 way of fetching that, as far as I can tell, in their list.
All
Oh
right, well, I'm
boy.
so bad. That's enough of that. Now we're gonna D'Angelo Might. We're gonna draw 9 cards.
Yeah. And now the visual bug no longer matters because those are legitimately cards in I'm so bad's hand.
That is a good point. Now we've got giant Moldermucks. Now we got 4 8/8s. Now, YurickYu, Last Light Druid has when you end the turn at night, transform each other unit you played this turn into a random unit that costs 1 more. So transforming these units into bigger things here. Yeah, Thieving Fox. Remember this guy? This guy saw some play right when it came out. Hasn't seen much since then, but I like the little fox.
Yeah, very briefly. A card that would have been excellent in limited, and potentially we can see it more and more in some future side drafts. Maybe we can find a home in some decks.
For sure.
Unfortunately, after its the brief amount of play that it saw, it didn't see continued play.
All right, Short Hopper, Icy Gaze, classic combo there. That's going to just stun a Grenahen because, well, there's nothing else on the board for YurickYu, so not much else to stun. But it does have a 5th power now, so we can see a Mandevilla, but it might be too little too late. Mandevilling an 8/8 Moldermuck when there's 2 other 8/8 Moldermucks is not great.
Yeah, it's Moldermuck is one of those cards that you kind of need to answer right away, and if your opponent starts multiplying them and getting value, then it starts getting out of hand. If you can utilize its ability to turn it from a detriment to make it a positive effect for you. Yeah, and really tough position here for YurickYu. They're not playing. They're not playing any wrath effects, so there's no way to cleanly just empty the board here. So there really is no answer. And YurickYu is
Defeated there. So I'm so bad. Congrats. I'm so bad on taking that one. You know, the starting hand, I would have put my money on YurickYu after looking at that starting hand. I'm so bad went to 6 and had a really awkward keep there. You know, at I guess I shouldn't even call it a keep. Technically, it was down to 6. But hey, yeah, it worked out in the end there.
Yeah, and eating my words, that sketch ended up being pivotal to winning the game. Absolutely brutal with that Moldermuck.
Yeah, it worked out well. That was a little bit of a kind of all eggs in one basket, but that's all I'm so bad could do, and said, hey, it's a risky line, but it's, you know, I drew out what the path was to victory, and if it worked, then it worked, and it ended up working there for I'm so bad. So the importance of putting a plan together.
Expertly done, definitely. Knowing the matchups, understanding what the weight and the importance of each of those cards in that matchup is very important. Squandering time and effort into something that isn't difficult ends up being very detrimental, and they really do understand kind of what the lines that they have available to them in this kind of matchup, and they really did take one that ended up working out really, really well.
For sure. All right, pulling up I'm so bad's Menace mid-range deck here. It's interesting. There's a lot of similar cards actually shared between these two decks. I do feel they're quite different. You know, I guess the only real fire is the Short Hopper and the Siegebreaker. So you could argue that these are very similar, but similar concept in deck, but different card choices and different sort of overall plan. But, you know, lots of Mandevilla for removal, D'Angelo Might for card draw, Davio for top end, early interaction. Similar in that sense.
Yeah, they're playing some of the same core build around cards in D'Angelo Might and Davia, and they're utilizing slightly differently, but there is a clear overlap in some of those plans.
Yeah, I like that overlap of key pieces as opposed to same game plan. All right, ready for game 2. I'm so bad is up 1 game. YurickYu keeping 2 power, exploit, blueprints, Grenahen, and 2 copies of evolving Ozai. I'm just gonna call him Ozai. We had some Avatar references earlier in chat. We're going to keep those going. On the other side of things, I'm so bad has 4 power, Defile, Strategize, Moldermuck, Ambitious, Mandevilla. So a little bit of a more broad hand here than they had last time. More tools to work with.
Yeah, YurickYu choosing not to play the Grenahen on turn 2 here, or an exploit.
Yeah, you're going to
Instead,
exploit here on.
maybe opting to wait to see if they want to plunder or not.
Potentially, yeah. Exploit going to take the Mandevilla. Let's see, they are going to plunder, so YurickYu is going to plunder, get that second shadow.
But that was a risky plunder there because that didn't necessarily give them a shadow 100%
Yeah,
of the
was that a
time.
Grenahan, right? So that was a that was a coin flip, but it did give him the shadow. They drew the film painting anyway, but yeah, you're right. That was a risk there. Going to play out this Totograph here, and we saw YurickYu snap block last time against a 3-3. Let's see if they do it against a 2-2 here. Now, imsobad's just not even going to attack.
Or drop a key draw here because they had depleted power. They're able to still make a play.
All right, no transform on imsobad side. On YurickYu side, transformed into an entangling vines.
YurickYu deciding that nobody gets to play Davias and plays the Elixir.
I do like it. No Davias today. It's just hand and void though, not deck. Yeah, hand and void. Yeah.
Hand and void.
All right, well, Research Lab. imsobad going for it again. Research Lab on Moldermuck.
But this time we have one of the two of answers in involving Oziel.
It's true. Going to take that out. Going to turn it into a 4/1 Cell Sword that can't block. Permafrost, a decent answer to Oziel, but the damage was a little bit already done there. Took care of the Research Lab. And on the other side of things, imsobad says, yeah, but I've got my Moldermucks going, so going to attack in, turn the Torgov down to an 0-1, and then play another copy of Moldermuck. So Cassandra would be pleased by all the mucks and slime coming around here tonight, but it's effective. It's good in the format.
Cassandra's card has been a format staple, so I'm sure he's very happy to see it. Sort of lots of different cool things to happen with that card. It's quite the interesting card to build around.
For sure. Defile going to take care of this Vine Grafter. YurickYu grabbed Fall to Ruin from the market. It's far from getting that secondary mode, but not a bad way to just wrath the board, clear it out, and move on to the top end of the game.
Yeah, we saw last game not having access to a card like that in the main deck, so preemptively going and getting this early and being able to, now that they drew power here, being able to play it, get that gasp of air that they really need to start maybe stabilizing here.
Absolutely. YurickYu going to say, let's hit the reset button. We're going to start fresh here next turn. imsobad fortunately drew a short hopper, so that's something that can do, but none of that discard synergy with an Icy Gaze or a Send a Message isn't going to take care of any units because there are no units. We're going to send a message anyway just to discard a card from YurickYu, but YurickYu has probably just gets rid of that Entangling Vines. Yeah. So basically a 4/4 flyer here, but Evolving Oziel is going to say that's better than a 4/4 flyer. How about a 6/4 regen flyer?
So depending on, so this is a position where, let's say, had imsobad kept that short hopper, they would be really happy that they'd be able to get like a lot of value. So here they kind of had to resort to taking up a turn to get back that Send a Message, but crucially, YurickYu here has the D'Angelo's Might to kind of offset the discard. The unit is still going to die, but it really is not going to be as impactful to their hand.
Right, because it's going to be 6 cards to 1 here after this. 5 cards to 1, I guess, but still, it's a pretty good advantage. So yeah, Send a Message. Going to take care of that Oziel. Oh, actually, the Obstructive Flicker? Was that drawn off of the D'Angelo Might? I think it was.
Boy, the one of
Flicker drawn off the Might. Wow. Ooh, and then a Davia here. Is there anything? See, we got Flicker. We've got D'Angelo Might. All right, we're going to Davia. Ooh, an Exploit. All right, I like that. I like that Exploit before combat. Going to take out imsobad's last card. Now attacker for 6. So YurickYu's in pretty good shape here.
Definitely, and those extra cards will wonders for that card filtering that Oziel is so good at doing.
Indeed. Draw 2, discard 2 whenever it hits. And all right, imsobad now has a Vine Grafter. We got Blackout Disguise, Speaking Circle, Rock.
So Blackout Disguise seems like a great card against this evolving Oziel.
It does. Still the Davia problem, but it seems pretty good. But instead, imsobad going to go with the Speaking Circle.
And Speaking Circle, notably, again, because we're going into the random card creation or transformation, it's going to be able to have a wide gamut of options.
It's true, because even though this is an expedition tournament, technically the head-to-head matches do pull from the full throne card pool, so it could be anything. It could even be a boat. We'll see what it is here. Unfortunately, Equalize won't save. There's a Bring to Justice. That's not really going to do it, because imsobad has to deal with 3 threats somehow this turn, and there's not a lot of cards in the game that can do that, especially when one of them has Aegis.
Yeah, TNE, very good preparation for the top 8, because I believe the top 8 of an open also has the same the same card generation logic for
interesting
cards.
Okay. All right, well, we've got Send for Reserves, Elaz's Choice, and Bring to Justice. Yeah, it's not going to be it. imsobad doesn't have an answer here, and YurickYu can just A-space for the win. So no boat off of Speaking Circle. I don't even know what the draw was there. imsobad going to go down. YurickYu going to tie it up 1 game apiece. Heading into game 3. Let's see who's going to head on to the finals.
They do really need to come up with a boat type card so that we to randomly even get a boat.
Absolutely. All right, 1-1 here. No update from the backup match. I think they're a little delayed, but we'll hop over there as soon as this one's done. But this is good. Close action here. I mean, great players, sweet decks. All right, heading into game 3 here. Looks like imsobad and YurickYu. Looks like they both capped. So let's tell players they're good to go and then take a look at their openers here. imsobad has 2 power, a Seek power, Vara's Favor, Defile, Moldermuck, and Mandevilla. So nothing new or different about that one.
At first glance, YurickYu's hand seems fantastic, but at the same time, you quickly realize that they have a lot of depleted power. So their first few turns are going to be spent kind of cobbling together their power drops. That it's not going to be as smooth as just undepleted power,
Yeah.
exploit.
Fair enough. Moldermuck here. Being the first one to hit, it's got to be on the play. It's got to be pretty good here. Being able to get that Moldermuck down, and a little awkward for YurickYu. They can play the Exploit or they can play out a Vinegrafter, but neither one of those is actually going to answer this Moldermuck before it starts spreading.
Yeah, and depending on what else imsobad will follow it up here, they may start being able to put YurickYu in a decent amount of pressure. We'll see what if these Vinegrafters are going to be able to get some key cards from the market, if they're going to be able to block a few times and keep that life total up.
imsobad just going to Vara's Favor face just to get Sigil, make sure they hit their power drops. Make that Moldermuck, make the muck, and pass it back. YurickYu, Grenahan off the top. Let's get a 1-3 lifesteal and miss.
Misses here from Grenahan.
Follow that up with a Vinegrafter.
They do have a lot of hits, so it's quite unfortunate that the Grenahan missed here.
And the Vinegrafter that they followed the Hen up with did eat a removal spell, so that one is gone. That Defile is going to take care of it. Free block here on the Moldermucks, though. And then Avara's Favor, just for good measure. Finish it off. Keep hitting your power drops. That's the key.
And again, we see YurickYu kind of getting unfortunately stuck on 4 power and having to use their resources to just get the power to begin with, so not being able to really make a lot of headway on the board.
Yeah, not really. And their blockers also keep getting defiled, so there's another one down. Now, if there's any silver lining for YurickYu, it's that these Moldermucks are almost done, and imsobad doesn't have any way in hand to, manipulate the size of them. So
notably, those were both of the Vinegrafters, I believe, there. So there's no other way of getting that Folder Ruin from the market, or any Blackout the Skies or any action there. So that was the last last chance for YurickYu to be able to go fetch that effect.
Wow, interesting. Yeah. I'm so bad needs to find some pressure. Now they had drew a short hopper there. They also have a Mandevilla. Not sure this is the matchup where the naked Mandevilla works, but it might have to do it just to get some pressure down. And yeah, there we're gonna see it. 5-5 Mandevilla. And then also has feeding time and short hopper to follow that up. But YurickYu bought enough time to get to Davia, and here it comes. Davia an exploit, but more importantly, 6-6 Aegis.
Yeah, that exploit in the void is fortunate because that short hopper was going to get send a message, and that Davia was no longer gonna be in play here. So as it stands, they were able to get rid of that answer. imsobad kind of kept that one back this game as opposed to the previous game where they just played it out and played send a message on an empty board, hoping to get value, kill that Davia, but unfortunately that exploit really.
Now things are turning the corner here for YurickYu. Lots of options. They've got this Davia, that's active, that can stun. They've got a Traveler's Guildhouse, just pay 6, draw a card if they want to get ahead on card advantage. They've got a second copy of Davia, and they've got a Torgov if they want to keep developing the board. So really some choices here. How does YurickYu want to transition into the late game now? Because they've stabilized. So do you want to put on pressure with Davia? Kind of hard to get through these chump blockers. Do you want to just draw cards? Lots of different options.
Well, I feel like we can really infer how YurickYu is feeling about the game so far, in that they spent their entire turn to draw a card rather than developing any other threats on the board, and that must show that they're getting a little comfortable with their position here.
Daviing back a Blueprints. Now that's not a play you see all the time, but yeah, get your value out of there, and that Blueprints gonna turn into an heirloom. Pay 7, sacrifice the heirloom to draw 3, discard 3. Now you got 2 Davias out there, and we'll see if YurickYu thinks it's time to start attacking, because those are big attackers. I mean, yeah, imsobad can chump forever, but start putting that pressure and make forever come a little closer.
So now we're likely going to see a Torgov, although I think there's merits to also playing YurickYu. Able to kind of start pinging away some of the 1/1s and
ooh, third copy of Davia. Whew. Arguably one of the best cards in all of Expedition, and we see it here doing work. YurickYu is going to get some more great attacks. Another Torgov as well. And now YurickYu is firing on all cylinders. I'm not sure how imsobad gets out of this one.
One Davia is hard enough to deal with.
Yeah.
3 Davias are quite the formidable force.
All right, short hopper. So that can get some action. That can get a send a message. Gonna sack and discard. Unfortunately for imsobad, a lot less effective now than it would have been 5 turns ago.
Yeah, there's that like very narrow window where you can get as much value as you possibly can off of that send a message, and we just missed that. That exploit was key from YurickYu.
All right, YurickYu. Time once again for the #1 stunners. Gonna say, hey, I'm not drawing cards. I'm not developing the board. I'm just gonna stun everything you play now and start hitting for 12. Can only chump block for so long. imsobad draws an exploit, which is fine, but it's not really changing the problem for imsobad here.
Yeah, they are on a 3-turn clock if some of these Davias start connecting to their life total.
And the problem is that they both have Aegis, and blockers aren't going to do it because blockers are just going to get stunned.
We're going to go get back a send a message here. imsobad. Planning on playing it next turn. YurickYu starting to be able to ping some of these 1/1s.
Yeah, YurickYu does have pay 3 to deal 1 to an enemy.
Just not to stun anything, but instead just go ahead and attack with the Davias and develop.
Keeping the other Davia back because recognizing that the Mandevilla is going to come off stun, and if for some reason imsobad wanted to start attacking and gaining life, just having a blocker here.
I'm curious if they're going to end up discarding this Defile or this Rune to the the send a message, I think there's arguments for both. This Defile is probably not doing very much at this point. And there's potential that the rune can make both the Davias unblockable
True.
if I'm so bad is able to kind of build a big enough board that they can't stun everything.
All right, that copy of Mandevilla is going to take out the first Ulixa. Second one's still sticking around. YurickYu going to stun and draw. I mean, imsobad's got some time, so that's one tool that they have working for them. And draw 5 is a good way to start.
Boy, if I asked imsobad what card they would really like to play, I think Diango's Might would have been it.
Yeah. If imsobad can pop the Aegises on the Davias and follow up with some removal, might be able to actually push through this.
Let's see. What kind of removal does imsobad have for the Davias? Is it just Mandevilla? There's Mandevilla. There's 2 feeding times. And there's
we saw 1 feeding time already, right? We saw 1 Mandevilla. Yeah, 1 Mandevilla, 1 feeding time are gone. Actually, 2 Mandevillas, I guess, are gone. We're gonna Diango Might again, draw 5 more.
So YurickYu has chosen lines that have not they have not been attacking with both their Davia. They have not been putting as much pressure as they possibly could on imsobad. And here we have imsobad finding a turn to be able to draw 10 cards and really just get that card advantage going. They have
now you
power.
See YurickYu attacking, but you're right. It was played a little cautiously the last couple turns, and now YurickYu has a Davia as well. Or I'm sorry, now imsobad drew a Davia as well, in addition to the Permafrost. That could be a feeding time. That could potentially, you can Permafrost 1 to pop the Aegis, and then feeding time 1. That would take care of one of the Davias. There's ways to get around this.
That's right. They have 10 power, so they can make a lot of plays here. The 2 Defiles, the Varus Favor, are not particularly useful cards in YurickYu's hands. The rune, however, can sneak in that 12 damage when it's not being expected. It's not a card that can be interacted with exploit, so it's in YurickYu's hand to stay at this point.
Yeah, that's right. You can't exploit it. Yeah, imsobad instead going to take the line of Davia for the feeding time to take out the other unit, leaving the 2 Davia shields, leaving the Permafrost in hand, and Grenahen here. Now, they do have Sinister Rumors, so I wonder if imsobad is trying to set up a way to kill the Grenahen and then get one of the send a message to hit.
Boy, I'm surprised that YurickYu, after drawing that second rune, didn't just go ahead and attack for 12.
Gonna pay 4 to pop the Aegis shield. Oh, actually, that's another way to pop the Aegis shield is the Davia stun. Yeah. All right, there it is. So there's the send a message. We talked about getting rid of one of them. Send a message is gonna take care of one of these Davias. Now let's see if imsobad can deal with the other. And now you got 1 Davia on both sides, but imsobad has the cards and the Mandevilla.
This game is really turning around. imsobad has done an excellent job navigating it, proving that their name is indeed incorrect.
one of the better monikers in Eternal. I will give them that. Yeah, turning things around here and gotten so much time, I feel like, in this game. Has just had so much time to develop and grow.
Using their name as a ruse to bring a false sense of security to their opponent.
Indeed. I'm going to play out a Molder Muck and then Sinister Rumors to draw a unit from the Void. And yeah, imsobad is pulling ahead, it looks like. That's YurickYu down to 8.
At this point, YurickYu is in deep, deep trouble.
And Defile can take care of the Molder Muck, but forced to stun. The defensive stuns from that Davia.
Definitely not the place you want to be.
And I'm just trying. imsobad is so close. What does imsobad need to actually kill that Davia? Oh, can Sinister?
Well, drawing 6 more cards is
a start.
Definitely one way of getting him there.
There's
Imagine,
a feeding time. All right. So if imsobad really wants to take care of this Davia, they can stun plus feeding time next turn, and that Davia's down. Or just permafrost and feeding time. That's even better. That's cheaper. Permafrost feeding time. That Davia's down, and this game is basically over.
This game is over.
This game is over. Wow. Well played by imsobad.
Such a good game. Such a swing. Three Davias at available on YurickYu's side here, and not able to get it done. That was expertly navigated.
Yeah, well done. That was a great match between two great players. So glad we got to see that.
The angle is might in full force.
Yeah, card's good. I can see how it wouldn't look good when it's stuck in your hand, but card's good.